This tutorial will cover how we can work on this 3D rendered view here in the 3D imaging module. So here we will mostly focus on how we can manipulate and work on this 3D rendered view, and then there's a separate tutorial about how we can adjust the looks of this view. So let's first use this maximization button here in order to make this a little bit bigger, so we can find also here, just as next to any of the slice views, the button for maximizing the view. Also, here's the 2D snapshot icon, so if you would like to take a 2D image of what we see here and save it automatically in the 2D imaging module, we could use the icon here. So let's then see how we can move this view. So we can just simply grab it with our left mouse button down and move it around. And also we could use these orientation buttons in order to view the volume from the left, from the front, and from right. Then we can panorate this volume around by, for example, keeping our both mouse buttons down, or then we could, for example, keep our right mouse button down and the Alt key on the keyboard and move it around. And if we would like to center the volume based on some specific point, we could right-click on that point and the volume gets centered according to that point that we clicked. This slider here is for seeing through the volume or seeing what's inside, but this is actually covered together with this clean rendering tool and normal volume crop tool in a separate tutorial about cropping the volume. When we are working on the volume and we would like to use this view to help us, we could, for example, activate here the volume boundaries. So here on the 3D rendering tools, in order to understand better how big the volume is and where are the outlines. And also we could activate these colored planes so that we could better understand from where the slice views are taken from in the volume. Or then we could activate them one by one. If we would have some objects visible here, such as the nerve now, or then let's make some fitted models visible as well, and we would just quickly want to hide everything but the volume, we could use this button here, so for hiding all the overlay, all the objects that we have added in the plan. So this button here. Naturally, if we would like to hide the objects one by one, we could use the controls here in the object browser, so we could hide the objects by clicking on this eye icon next to any of the objects. We can use also this 3D rendered view for moving the objects in it. So let's first delock these items so that we're able to move them. And now we could, for example, move this crown here. So if we select the crown so that it becomes active, it gets this box around it. We could now grab it with our Control and Shift down on the keyboard, and by grabbing it with our left mouse button, so we could move it around here in the 3D rendered view. And likewise, keeping the Control and Shift down on the keyboard and using our right mouse button, we could also rotate this object. So this way we could work on all the objects here, these fitted models, crowns, segmented teeth, and so on. And we can still reset the position of these objects that we have moved by opening the properties for that object here in the object browser, and by going here to the Move tab and then clicking on this Reset to Original Position.